Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, today we'll talk about Donald Trump. Now, if you haven't heard yet, Donald Trump is potentially going to be indicted by a grand jury in Manhattan as early as tomorrow, and is looking to be arrested as early as tomorrow. Now, what this has to do with his hush money to Stormy Daniels back right before the start of the 2016 election campaign. According to what I have seen, right as he started, right as he announced his candidacy, he also gave $130,000 to Stormy Daniels through Michael Cohen, his then attorney, who has gone to prison for this, right? Because it was an illegal payment to keep her quiet, so she wouldn't say anything about the election. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of the law. I'm no legal scholar here, but I'm hearing a bunch of people trying to act as if this is some political scheme of some sort by the Biden administration and by Democrats. Even Ron DeSantis is claiming, as of this morning, that this is just some political witch hunt, basically. That it's a manufactured thing that never really happened. Well, the fact is, we have 100% proof that this payment took place. We have 100% proof because a man has gone to prison for the payment, among other crimes. I'm seeing on Twitter people talking about, well, you former president should, you shouldn't be able to arrest a former president. That's what people in third world countries do. No, what they do in third world countries is let former leaders and current leaders get away with any crime they commit. Are you telling me that if there was proof that Bill Clinton had sex with an underage person on Epstein's island or on his jet or whatever, would you not want to be throwing the book at him? As someone who thought Bill Clinton was a wonderful president, if there was evidence that he had done something wrong, I would want him thrown in jail. Period. End of story. If something bad came about Barack Obama, who, if you watch this channel, you'd know been a huge supporter of for years. If all of a sudden something came up where he had broken the law, and there was proof that he broke the law and did something criminal, I would want his ass in prison too. There's no political game going on here. This isn't arresting him for his political views. But nobody is above the law. No one should be above the law. Now, we'll see if this indictment actually happens or not. We'll see if this arrest actually happens or not. Because I have my doubts. But we shall see. But if he is arrested, it's not because of his political views or the fact that he wants to run for president. It's the fact that he broke the law. Or there is evidence that he broke the law. After all, the DA is not just making it up. He's not just saying, ooh, we're indicting you. It's before a grand jury. The evidence was presented to a grand jury, and if they indict him, it's the grand jury that indicted him. That's not going to just be a pool of only Democrats. Most likely, it's not just a bunch of Democrats. Most likely, it's a mix of a little bit of everything, everybody, right? Because we all know those jury summons go out with, no rhyme or reason. So sitting there trying to act as if Trump did nothing wrong when we have evidence to the contrary, trying to act as if he's possibly going to be arrested because and uses a political prisoner. That's stretching things a bit, don't you think? My belief is if you commit a crime and there's proof of it, you should go on trial for that. If he did nothing wrong, then Trump shouldn't be worried about it. But his Truth Social posts say that he is concerned about it. If he did nothing wrong, Michael Cohen wouldn't have gone to prison for it. If he did nothing wrong, he wouldn't be trying to weaponize his base to attack the Manhattan District Court to the point that they have had to bring in riot police and barricades just in case he gets arrested. Now I don't know how a jury's going to find. If the jury, an actor, if he goes on trial and a jury actually finds him guilty, okay. And if not, okay. Either way you go, it's got to be adjudicated. There's a potential that he broke the law. There is evidence showing that he likely did break the law. A former lawyer for him went to prison for the same situation, and now the DA has evidence that he's brought to a grand jury. They don't usually bring cases that are going to be easily lost. So obviously, whoever the DA is in Manhattan, they believe they have evidence that he broke the law, and they have belief that the grand jury is going to indict based on evidence. Now I know people on the right; they have no belief in facts, no belief in evidence, because they believe their great leader. But he was no great leader. He may be their great leader because he railed against things that they love railing against. He hated gay people. He hates trans people. He hated black people. He hated Mexican people. And he thought the subjugation of women was just hilarious fun. And people of his base support that. Donald Trump was not a good president. He is not a good person. And the sooner you see that, the sooner you see that he is no more than a con man who has used other people's money for years to fund other people and to fund his projects. And those charges are coming from another New York court at a later point, potentially. But right now, this is all about the Stormy Daniels thing. Remember, he had an affair with Stormy Daniels while his wife Melania sat at home pregnant with her child. His child. He was out there having sex with a porn star. This is your great leader. This is your great moral Christian leader, Republicans. If he's arrested on Tuesday, that's great. I think it's great because it's about time that he is at least has to deal with something out of what he has done wrong. This is this is probably the least of what he's done wrong. We have evidence that he paid for women to have abortions back in the early 2000s or the 90s and into the 2000s. There's been proof that lied about his finances. There have been allegations of almost 40 different women who were uh, over and under legal age of sexual harassment, sexual assault. So paying a porn star is the least of what this man's done wrong, and how the evangelicals can find him as some godly person. Honestly, he needs his head examined. Because the things he says now are not the things he used to say in the 90s. It's just like Roseanne. Roseanne back in the 90s was great. It was very much a liberal, just like Donald Trump once was, at least seen as a liberal. But then he realized he could get power by hating people, by subjugating people, by trying to eradicate people. But if he broke the law, he broke the law. If there's evidence he broke the law, then that's what we have to go on. You can cry, bitch, and moan all you want, but he potentially broke the law. There is proof that he may have broke the law. And a grand jury is deciding that now, or may have already decided that. So you're telling me going through the same court system that you or I have to go through if we do something wrong, you're not going to buy it. You're not okay with that. You're not okay with the fact that charges may have been, are pending against him, that an indictment is pending after it's gone through a vetting service, through vetting, through a grand jury. Would I be surprised if the grand jury indicted him? Yeah, I'll be surprised. I'll be absolutely shocked because we have a history in America of letting rich white men off. Although that tide seems to be turning, especially with that Murdaugh trial. But that's the news of the day, really. Donald Trump possibly being indicted and possibly arrested as early as tomorrow. That's what he's tweeted out, that he expects to be arrested on Tuesday of this week. Now, it's not going to be a very long thing. He'll probably walk in, they'll book him, and they'll send him home. That's about all that's probably going to happen. Even though he could be seen as a flight risk because of his ability to leave. But we'll see. Anyways, you have a good day. I'll see you down the road.